Is it?
Yes, that stream is live. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dragons Fan Guide podcast, episode 8 for season 2023. And I'm joined by, unfortunately, not a Dragons supporter. If you'd like to introduce yourself, mate.
Mate, I am a supporter of a much better side, the Parramatta Eels legend, TJC Sports here. About almost 3,000 on YouTube. Met this guy over about a month ago at a Para Dragons game. Who won that one, buddy?
No comment. Let's move on.
No comment. Mate,
I
come
played
on.
the I played the fifth.
You played the... Bro, come on. Nah. This ain't fair. I didn't know you could do that, mate.
My podcast, my rules.
Far out, damn it, mate. I need to make my own.
All right, so everybody, so just to start this show, I'd like to, just as a memorial, so today marks 7 years that my friend Rob Thompson passed away from brain cancer. And he was a big Parramatta supporter. So just as an honour to him, we'll have a minute silence
Let's do
from
it, mate.
now, and then we will move on with the show. All right, thank you, everybody, and thank you, TJ, for. I got your name wrong. Sorry.
It's TJ, mate. There's nothing wrong with saying TJ. I go by about 7 names at this point, mate, and that's not even including my real name.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for going along with my memorial, mate. Just like to do that
No
from now
problem, mate.
onwards. So we'll get into the show, and I'll get this topic thing up.
Of course.
We'll go topic number 1, and we'll start off with you.
All right. My favorite NRL player of all time, bro. Well, it's going to be a little biased as a Parramatta Eel supporter, but I'm probably going to go with Hindmarsh.
Yeah.
Mate, the passion that he brought to my team, mate. Robbed in 09, bro. One of my favourite players to ever watch there. I mean, I liked the 09 Hayne playing, but I'm not a big fan of him as a player.
And for me, I still have to go with James Graham. For me, still
Oh,
tops the
mate,
chart
bloody
for me.
James Graham. What a player. Wasn't he more of a dog, though, than a dragon? Doesn't matter. He's still a legend.
So I would pick James Graham, but Marsh is definitely up on my list somewhere as well.
Gotta be, mate. 2 great picks there for your Dragons.
All right, so let's see if this thing will work. Okay. So I'll probably start this one. So Lomax, fullback or centre. For me, at this current stage, he's got to be in the centres for me at this current stage.
Yes.
I wouldn't move him yet.
Look, I get what Shane Flanagan is thinking coming into the club. You know, Lomax, it was a little bit of a shock to me. I feel like personally, when you've got a player developing like Sloan at fullback for you guys, it's not that smart to be moving a much more experienced player into that position when he's so class at centre, guys. Like, you know, yes, Lomax went to a poor run of form in 2023 at one point, but like he really bounced back, and he, for me, should be one of your guaranteed centres, not a fullback.
Yeah, so I wouldn't change him, but we'll see what happens. I trust Flano, so we'll see.
Hey, who knows, mate? He's the one looking at training. Maybe he looks a lot more like a fullback in training and all that, and he'll be a lot better than any of us expect.
I will start out this new question with you, mate.
First ever NRL game I was at. Far out, man. That's going back real far. I think it would have been elimination final, Souths and Roosters. I don't quite remember how old I was. I wouldn't have been any older than like 5 or 6, I think. Maybe 8, 7-ish. Kind of like, mate, I don't really remember it that well, but that would have been the first ever NRL game I went to. Didn't get to go to too many para games. Didn't really grow up in the para area. I only really, once I started doing the channel, managed to do that a lot. Go to the games in person. But yeah, first game. It was a very good one. Lots of rivalry there, but I can't really tell you too much about it since I was so young.
So my actual first NRL game, I have to actually think, makes me feel old now. Trying to think back, I don't remember who we played, but it was Dragons. Maybe it was the Warriors. It was round 18 of 2012, so more than 10 years ago. So I think I think it was at Wollongong. I'd have to check that, but it was round 18. And that makes, what is that? 12, 13 years ago. Yeah, I
Jeez.
definitely feel old. I definitely feel old
No,
now.
we can both feel old, mate, when you think about your first games.
Yeah, so the other question, now these things are not going to work. The other question I got for you, mate, quick summary for you on your highlights of Paris season this year.
Look, I think one of the biggest highlights was heading into it before it even started. It was great, mate. We were runners up in the grand final, and look, the grand final wasn't close, but still, the fact is that we made it. There was a lot of confidence heading in, but of course, you had those contributing factors like in the first 3 weeks, Matto wasn't there to suspension, and then mid-year we had the terrible point with Dylan Brown. I felt like earlier on in the season we had a bit of a turnaround in our bad luck fortunes when we played the Bunnies. When we played the Bunnies, nobody expected us to win that game. That is my favorite game I went to this season, by the way. Absolutely brilliant time there. And then from there, we went on a good run till the Dylan Brown saga, and then kind of dropped off for the rest of the season to a point where we just barely have missed the 8. And look, it's never really acceptable to go from grand final to missing the top 8. I'm not going to defend that. And look, I'm not. I've talked to a lot of these boys outside the shed, so like, I have a lot of respect for all of them as people and players. But like, you got to be honest and say that a lot of it was contributing factors to why we ultimately had a very disappointing year from what we should have with the squad we have.
So, being that I have a soft spot for Para with my uncle supporting them, I was disappointed that they didn't, play better. But I thought the highlight was beating Penrith the last game of the year. For me, was
Mate,
your
that was
highlight.
the best. Mate, that was the only game besides the Bunnies game where I felt like I was the only one tipping my team. Like nobody really thought about it. But I just looked at the fact that the Panthers haven't actually beaten us in a few years in the regular season. Mate, it's a bit of a hoodoo with us. I can't really describe why it happens. Maybe it's just the way we play, a little unpredictable, a little bit almost sloppy, but it's definitely unique. And teams like the Panthers will struggle against it. There's a reason that we struggle more against some teams that are considered traditionally not as good than we do against some teams like the Panthers, mate. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I was disappointed for you, but I think if you had Dylan Brown the whole season, I think it would be a different situation.
Oh, mate, God, you cannot tell me in the 6 weeks, right? It was about 6 weeks that Dylan Brown was gone. You can't tell me in that time that we wouldn't have at least won one more game. You can't tell me we wouldn't have done that. And then you add the bye points, and mate, we're back. You know, you know what I mean, mate. We only really were out by one win.
Yeah,
It was really close, bro. And look, I had hope right until the final, like 3 round. When we lost to the Roosters, everyone kind of knew that we were out of the race. But we've always got next season. People will doubt us now, but our team's always been a club that thrives when nobody expects anything from us. Remember, 2018 Wooden Spoon, 2019 finals.
yeah, it's complicated, but I mean, I thought that when I looked at your season, I thought Dejan Arce filled in well as well. He did a good job um, as well. He played well, but it's hard for to come in so late in the season to fill that role that's so used to having Brown there. But he did an admirable job as well. But if I look at highlight for your year, I think it's Sivo's tries again
Mm.
as a collective and that para game for me.
Yeah, those are some good highlights, mate, to take out of this. Honestly, I think one of the proudest parts for us is the players overall that have broken through. You know, we've had quite a few younger guys come in. I mean, for example, that guy that you told me you knew, Arthur Miller Stephen. One game,
Yeah.
but still he broke through, good dude, and maybe we'll see him in the future. We've also got Brendan Hands, big breakout star there. Got a good future ahead for him if he can keep developing, get that mindset, and you know, Dylan stays. If Dylan can stay fit and not get in trouble, I'm actually really optimistic compared to some fans next season.
And I thought if I looked at it, I thought Luca Moretti was one of the another highlight to come out of your year as well.
Oh, Luca Moretti, mate. Nobody really saw it. Look, I already heard of Luca Moretti because of the international stage, but like Luca Moretti, I had a feeling I knew he was all right, but mate, he went another level from the interchange, and I think he's going to be great depth to retain in the future if a couple of our slightly better forwards go down.
The other player that I thought that did a great job was Offa Hangawi when he arrived as well. He was
Yeah, often in Gowie, he definitely did do an all right job, mate. I mean, personally, his first game was a little disappointing when he went off in under half an hour. It was like that was disappointing, but he came back and you know he did all right. He's yet to put himself at the level he was at the Tigers, but we'll wait and see. Maybe that's waiting for next season.
and so the other question I got for you, mate, is what do you think of the recent Bulldogs signings?
What you mean, like Mann and Hutchinson and that?
Yeah, well, I can't even say that with a straight face because it's just stupid. But it's they're all over the place. It's
Yeah, I look with the dogs, right? I hate them, all right. I hate them as a Power fan, but and look, I'm not a big fan of their recruitment at all. Really, the dogs. It doesn't feel like there's too much organization to how they're recruiting. They're just grabbing players left and right when they can grab one that doesn't look terrible. Kurt Mann, I don't know if those have they been officially announced?
there's possibly Monday morning.
Okay, yeah. They've essentially happened. Like they're currently just rumored, but they're gonna happen pretty much. Kurt, man, I could see them putting him at lock maybe. With the thing is that I would have thought he'd be a utility, but then of course you remember that they've got Drew Hutchinson coming in now, and surely you think he's the utility. So
But then they've also got Taff and they've also got Jamin
yeah,
Salmon.
yeah, Taff and
Who,
Salmon. Salmon, he'll be an interchanger to 18th man. That's what he'll be, and you know, because he just does a simple job. He's not a brilliant player, but he does his job for about 10, 15 minutes pretty much.
the other player that's come out today is that I think a guy that's leaving us is Moga. Tate Moga's off to the Bulldogs as well.
You guys know what? Yeah, he was one of the players cut when Shane came in, right? Like
Yeah,
Shane doesn't
it's
want.
not been confirmed, but it's reporting today that he'll join the Bulldogs on a 1-year New South Wales Cup contract and a trial and train contract with the NRL squad as well. The recruitment's all over the place, and to me, it's just a bit of a rubbish roster. It's it's just all over the place.
It really is all over the place, man. I want to see the Dragons improve. I don't actually have any real hate for the Dragons, but I don't know whether you can with the current roster, bro.
But I think we've got at least us and Tigers have a better roster than the Bulldogs. It's a
Oh
bit
yeah,
more.
the Dogs have a questionable roster. Look, I'm gonna make a bold kind of prediction here. I actually think some of their signings are gonna work out quite. I think Taff will go well for them. All right. I'm predicting Taft to have a good one. I think Critter will go okay. It looks like because they signed Taft, they'll put Critter in the centres from what Gus has said, but you never know with Gus.
No. The other player they've signed is Bronson Sherry as well. He'll be joining them.
Yeah, Bronson Sherry. After so long out of the game, he's back.
He probably won't play NRL for a while, though. He'll be in the cup side for quite a while.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see because you never know. I mean, players, the off season is a big moment for where they decide their teams. You know, like at the start of this preseason, they weren't really. There was quite a few players that surprised them. Like Jacob Preston wasn't in their plans for starting, and eventually he broke through.
Yeah. The other thing for me is then you've also got Takiaho, who's
coming in.
joining them.
Yeah, you got Takiaho coming into the team. Or from Super League, I believe. He was at the Sydney Roosters previously. I think he won a premiership or two there.
Yeah, it's for me. It's just a bizarre roster. And then they've had a whole heap of players leaving as well. It's a bit of a all over the place, and they've been linked with more players today. That's how I heard about Moga. If you look at on Fox Sports on the website, they've been linked to an additional few players. So it's just all over the place, and they've also been linked with Lumi as well. So we'll have to. I don't know. I don't know where he'd fit in that roster. It's all over the place. So I actually have the last question of the show for you, mate, and then we are done.
Yep. Players you think will be looking for a new club in 2024? It's a little tough, bro, really, to 100% say who will be looking for a new club. I could make a bold prediction. I think a couple doggies who have already been signed will drop off and probably leave mid-season. I could see a Tiger or two looking for a new club in 2024.
I lean towards in the sense of players that are currently contracted but who aren't going to play next year. So I actually made a list for it.
Yeah.
And it has a few para players on it as well.
I'll be a helper in this, yeah.
I put Kyle Rodwell on there because I don't see him. I have Kyle Rodwell and then Makahesi Makatoa as well. I have on my list.
Yeah, McDonald's, big McDonald's. I like him, but you're right. He doesn't get too much game time right now. He's certainly, I know for a fact, happy at Parramatta, but like I'm sure if somebody were to persuade him with a starting role or a frequent role in their 17-man playing side, he'd probably go to the opportunity.
Yep. And now this thing will work, hopefully. Bear with me just a sec. I'm just getting this thing back.
All good.
So the last question of the show, favourite fast food restaurant?
Mm-hmm. What is it? What's the final question?
It's not going to come up, but favourite fast food restaurant?
All good. Mate, I'll go with the breaking. We'll go with McDonald's. I like McDonald's.
For me, it's got to be Guzman Gomez. It's got to be up the top.
That's a good one, mate.
All right. Thank you for joining me, mate. So we'll organise once the podcast is back next year. I'm sure we'll get you back on, and I'm sure you'll probably see me at another para game or something.
I'm sure I will, mate. I always welcome people saying hi at para games, bro. Always adds to the vlogs I do.
I don't remember. Did you recognise me or did I recognise you?
I think it was a bit of both, bro. I knew I'd seen you somewhere, and you said hi to me, but like I knew I recognised your face. So
yeah. But I am a very good model, so you know.
Mate, I could model in all of this gear, mate. Any Parramatta thing, I could wear it.
Yeah, I'm a model. I'm an OnlyFans model. You know, so very, very attractive. Yeah, I'll show you my OnlyFans.
No,
There.
no.
See my fan? It's my OnlyFans.
That's your only.
So yeah, well, thank you for joining me, mate, and thank you for the 5 viewers that have stuck along for the whole show. No one's commented yet, so I'm not sure exactly who they are. But thank you, everybody, and peace out from the Dragons fan guy. And in the next few weeks, I will not be doing the podcast. There'll be a couple of NRL player talks, and there'll be more music stuff. There'll be, I think, 4 or 5 of my concert videos will be uploaded, and more music will be dropping in the next few weeks. So check that out, and I'll leave TJ YouTube channel and Instagram channel in the description below to subscribe to as well, once I remember how to do that, because I'm old, I forget things. So yeah, all right, thank you, everybody.
Peace out.